Sausage.
Hello, and welcome, welcome to Second Runs, the podcast where I run for 5 miles and see how many seconds it takes me. Guess what? It's going to take a lot because I have asthma. No, this is the podcast where I, Mark Kuznez, plays games they loved in the past to see if they still love them today. And in continuing my journey with the Arkham games, Batman Arkham to be specific, in case you were confused, thinking this was some second run of the Arkham horror board games that got video game adaptations that may or may not exist. I don't know. Maybe they did. Those exist, right? Arkham horror? That's a thing. Did they make a cosmic horror? Is that the same thing? Arkham and cosmic? I don't know. Also, I'm trying to think where I'm further away from the mic, picked up the gain, or I boosted up the gain. I raised the gain so that maybe because I know when I talk a lot and being close up with the mic, it's going to catch regardless of what I do. You can hear my breathing a lot, and I'm very self conscious about that. I don't think it makes for good audio, so hopefully this will alleviate that. We're going to see. Otherwise, maybe all of this won't be here. I'll throw it all away. But I am here to talk about Arkham City, Batman Arkham City. I play the remastered version as part of Return to Arkham, I believe it is, on my Xbox Series X. And unlike Arkham Asylum, this is indeed a second run. This isn't another thing where I booted it up and saw that I had a 82% completed file of the game. I was like, oh, shit, I already beat this one too. Don't remember that. No, this is a proper second run, which means I have not played this game since 2011, 20 something or other. I'm not exactly sure when this game came out originally because I did not do a single bit of research. But the one thing I do remember is enjoying this game quite a bit. I still preferred Arkham Asylum back in the day, and spoilers still do to this day. But what I wasn't expecting was me liking Arkham City as little as I did in this replay. I would borderline say I didn't like it. And I think a very big part of that, the biggest part of that, is the fact that unlike when I originally played Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, I did not have that 2 year gap or however long it was between game releases. So when Arkham City originally came out way back in whenever it was, there was enough time between releases for me to want more Batman, to be hungry for more Batman. I loved Asylum and I was ready for more Batman, and Arkham City gives you just that. And it expands upon the previous game by opening up the world, by giving you this. I guess it's all of Gotham. Is Gotham just a small city in actuality? I don't know the geographical nature of Gotham, if this is just a truncated version because it wouldn't be practical to have a humongous city, or if this is what is truly representative of the city. Is Gotham more like a borough than a complete city? I don't know. But you get this open area to play in, and a lot of people prefer city. A lot of people would call city their favorite. And I think it's part of the ways in which city just adds more. In many, many ways, it's just more. It's not better, it's more. Instead of 240 Riddler challenges, or however many there were in Arkham Asylum, I think it's around 240, you now have 440. Instead of just being able to play as Batman, now you can play as Catwoman, and there's some DLC where you can play as Harley Quinn, and I think there's some things, maybe just challenges where you can play as Nightwing and Robin potentially. I don't know because I went into it planning to play those bits of extra content, and then when I finished the game, I was like, no, I don't want any more of this. And the thing is, one of the craziest things about this game is that it is more in every way. It's more, except in terms of the main story. Arkham City took me about 8 hours to complete, maybe even less. It was a very short playthrough for me. And that's because I focus on the main story, which involves, was it Joker who stabbed you with this poison shit? Because it always has to come back to Joker. They can't just say, Joker was in Arkham Asylum. Now we're going to get our own new thing. No, Joker, 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 Joker. And so it plays out kind of like a Far Cry 2 where you're poisoned and then you got to go get yourself healed. And Raj Al Ghul is there and Penguin is there. Mr. Freeze is there. And I just didn't care. Two-Face is there at the very beginning, fucking with Catwoman. It wasn't fucking Catwoman. Hold your horses there. He tied her up. You know, he's still PG, everybody. He tied her up and he's gonna drop her in some poison crap or whatever. I think maybe the Titan. I don't know what he's gonna. I don't remember. All I know is that she was tied up and I had to go get her. So I got her, and then I could play as her every now and again. And I didn't like doing that. She plays very close to Batman, but the way in which she climbs up buildings, I don't like that. I don't like this rhythm-based thing where it's like, you can get good if you time it well. It'll say good, and I don't. Maybe it makes you climb faster. I don't know. I don't care. But the main story, if you just follow that, is shorter than Arkham Asylum, and that's because this is an open world, and they fill it with a bunch of side missions that are optional, but if you want, you can do them. And they seem to be substantially based off of their descriptions in terms of the kind of story content. You get some extra stuff with Mr. Freeze and his wife and so on. But because I wasn't enjoying the game, I didn't want to interact with any more of it than I had to. Part of what made the game so frustrating is because while this stuff may have existed in Arkham Asylum, it's worse in Arkham City when it's this open world that's larger and therefore just more tedious to navigate. In many instances, you'll have an objective, and then when you get to that objective, either you run into a person or something happens, and now you have to go fucking somewhere else to go do something or get something or whatever, and then you can come back and do the thing you were actually planning to do. So it's constantly sending you to places and then saying, wait, no. Actually, you got to go here first to go do this. Then you can come back here. And it's like, why did you make me travel all this way here just to tell me, no. Never mind. I was just kidding, I fucking actually go here first. And then you go there and then the same shit could happen. And it's just so fucking annoying. And the most egregious example of this is the Penguin whole subplot part of the main story where you're in the museum and you have to defeat Penguin because he captured Mr. Freeze, and you got to get Mr. Freeze because Mr. Freeze can help you get the antidote for the poison stuff. And so you go in the museum, and then there are multiple branching areas where you can go to. And if you don't just by sheer luck pick the right order to go in, you're going to end up going back and forth between these areas because if you go to this one place, you can do some stuff here, but the main thing you do is not going to get done. And then you go to this other one where Penguin is, and you can't do that boss fight until you get Mr. Freeze out and get him to get you this fucking gun thing or whatever the fuck, this little thing that you could freeze Penguin with, whatever. So then you go save Mr. Freeze in the area you haven't been to, but then you have to go back to that first area you went to because that's where his suit is. And then you go there and you interact with him. He's like, okay, here's the thing. And then you go finally back to Mr. Penguin. He's like, you fucking. It just draws out the whole thing. And that's what this game is really good at drawing out its content, which is crazy because, again, it took me less than it took me to beat Arkham Asylum. And that is with all of this drawing out. If it did not do that, this is probably like a 6-hour game or something. But in addition to that, I play this on normal because you have to play it on normal in order, or at least normal or higher, to be able to play New Game Plus. You can't start a New Game Plus if you play your first campaign on easy. I don't know why. That just seems like a real dick move. So play it on normal, and maybe it's even worse on hard. But they throw so many enemies at you at one time, and they just take such a beating. They're these punch sponges, and it's not hard. The game isn't hard. It's just so tedious. And because it's this open area, you're constantly spawning in new and refreshing groups of enemies for you to fight. And I still like combat, but it gets so annoying, especially later on when they introduce enemies holding shields and stuff like from the first game where you have your bladed enemies and ones holding batons and stuff like that. And what makes them annoying is that it will send multiple of these and multiple different kinds at you in these large fights, and you deal with them. You jump over the shield person and do a little combo so they drop the shield. And then you do it to the other one. But then other people are attacking you at the same time. And so while you're dealing with all these other things going on, after you've dealt with the shielded enemies, either those same enemies or somebody else will pick up those shields and it resets everything. And so you're really just going through the motions, doing the combos, countering, and it just draws out these fights where they're no longer fun because you never really feel like you're making progress. You are making progress. Eventually, you'll knock everyone out. But because everyone can take such a beating, and with the higher class enemies, which is what I'll call the ones with shields or guns or whatever, they keep picking up their stuff again. And there's so many enemies that you can't really deal with them. You can't break a shield. It would be nice if the way you dealt with a shielded opponent, for instance, was by breaking their shield. You did something where you put up, I don't know, a little bat mine on it, and it explodes the shield in half, and it's no longer usable, instead of just making them drop so that somebody else can pick it up. So that's really annoying. The story is fine, but it's just more Joker stuff. The Raj Al Ghul stuff is not great because his whole boss fight scenario where you're first flying off these things and you're following the wind trail, whatever, and then diving into these vortex things until you finally fight him in this thing where he's a giant thing and he's fucking throwing blades at you and you have to shoot him with your little electric gun in the gaps. It's I can't stress this enough. The game is just more. All it is. The boss fight, it just goes on and on and on. And you're sitting there thinking, okay, I get it. I've had my fill. Yeah, and we move on. And it never lets you move on. In addition, or going back to the side stuff and the way they just pad it with all this extra content that's not required for the main quest. You also have, from the first game, he was in the first game as well, Zaz or whatever his name is, which is this Batman antagonist. I don't remember. I don't know. And he just seems like a normal prisoner. I don't know what makes this dude special outside of just being an annoying piece of crap. Because in this game, what he does is call you all the time. And when he calls you, the game is constantly telling you, hey, phone's ringing. You want to go get the phone? We'll tell you where it is. Just go pick up the phone. This is going to be fun. It's going to be so much fun. And he picked it up the first time. And he's like, hey, dude, Batman, I fucking put a bomb here. You better get there in time or fucking you're going to go boom. And they're like, I don't want to. And he's like, too bad. You got it. Or fucking boom. And so you go and you deal with that shit. And it takes you away from the objective you were at. And then you say, after that first time, you know what? Next time a phone rings, I'm not fucking picking it up. Because if I'm right at where I was fucking traveling for 5 minutes to get to my next story mission, and then you start calling me, and you're like, hey, hey, fucking pick me up. Hey. I'm like, no. You've got me so riled up that I keep saying like people I don't like. Just say like a whole bunch of times. That shit was annoying. And that kind of turned me off too from the side missions. In addition to just the game frustrating me, which is a bit of a bummer because there were some side missions that I looked at and thought, I kind of want to do this. The Mr. Freeze stuff. He's such an interesting villain. He's one of the more interesting, complex antagonists who falls more into that gray area where he's done not good things for sure, but his reasons and whatnot are not purely evil. He's very similar to use a Marvel analogy, a Marvel villain, Spider-Man specifically. He's very similar to someone like Doc Ock, who made a fantastic villain in Spider-Man 2. But because the main stuff was just bugging the crap out of me, I didn't want to engage with it. And that holds true for the Riddler trophy. So I went back in Arkham Asylum after beating it, and I spent 2-3 hours collecting 100-ish Riddler trophies and the Arkham, those bits of lore thing that you find that are gradually filling out this story thing. Those like spider things on the blocks of wood. Not even sure what it is. But I spent 2-3 hours doing all that, and I think I only have the medical wing left to clear out because I love that game so much, and I liked going after the trophies and the challenges, and I liked having the riddles, as obtuse as they could be at times and difficult to figure out as someone who's a casual Batman fan. I really liked doing them, but not so much in Arkham City because they, one, give you so many more. They, two, get rid of the riddles unless I'm missing something or they just don't ever pop up when I'm in an area. I've never fucking once gotten to an area where it's like, hey, here's a riddle, figure me out. I didn't like going after the Riddler trophies. Part of it is because a lot of it is, or at least some of them are timing based. I don't want to do that. I don't want to step on something that activates something so that I have to run over here within the time limit to knock this button and then press this button. I'm not looking for a timing based thing. Make that a challenge. Make that, if you want to do timing based things, make that a challenge alongside the combat challenges. Have combat challenges, have timing based challenges. Make all your challenges that kind of shit. For Riddler trophies, be creative or just have them be collectibles that you have to find the gate that you have to get through or whatever. Or some of the more creative ones that I do like are, one example would be a Riddler trophy was in a ball or something like that. And it's in this kind of maze where you are manipulating it with this electronic gun thing you have that can activate electronic devices. And you're able to slide these doors open and close. And so you are opening these doors and then using this thing to magnetically pull this ball through this maze to get it to the end, the goal, so that you can get the trophy. Stuff like that is fun and creative. These timing things are just annoying. And I get to them, I try them once, I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. So that even became a frustration. It's just a bummer because, again, I remember really liking the game. And I still love Arkham Asylum. But I think coming off of Arkham Asylum so soon, so just, I would implore anyone, this should be something I put at the top of the episode. If you are planning to play through the Arkham games, I would implore you to not play them back to back to maybe back to back to back. But at least give yourself some space between Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. I soured on Arkham City so much and enjoyed it so little that I'm holding off on Arkham Origins. Even though I've been told by my friend who did the same thing, he's gone through all the Arkham games now. he really liked Origins, even playing them so close together after not liking City so much. I need that break because Arkham City really did do a number on me. But yeah, the detective stuff in Arkham City is the same-ish, I guess. It didn't even really stick out to me. The stealth stuff is fine. It didn't even there's just something about having this very purposefully designed entire space of Arkham Asylum where everything feels important and you feel like you have a reason to go everywhere in that map. And then you have Arkham City, which has these very intricate areas. You have your police station, you have the museum, and so on. You have these handful of places that are very intricate levels. But then you have this open city that is beautiful. I will give it that. If I'll say anything that's more positive or something about it that's very, very positive, it looks great. And Gotham looks great. But there's nothing to do. It's not fun to be in Gotham because you're either just dealing with a bunch of thugs on the ground or on the roof. You're dealing with ones who have guns, most likely, plenty of snipers too, or you're going after Riddler trophies that are half annoying. And there's some that you can only get as Catwoman, so you have to play as Catwoman a bit. And I don't want to play as Catwoman because I don't like the way she plays. And I think the camera zooms out a little bit more when you're playing as her, and I don't like that all that much. Like the cast of the boss fights in general. What even were they? What was the? I mean, the Mister Freeze one is a standout one. That's the one that everyone remembers because that one is basically a boss fight that tells you or has you use all of your various abilities and tools to damage him, and that's fun. It's basically just saying, hey, everything you've learned up to this point, use those skills, those abilities, those tools to chip away at Mr. Freeze until you beat him. Cool. But the Ra's al Ghul, just annoying and ugly area, not a very exciting thing to fight in. Solomon Grundy, nothing fight. I don't even remember what the final Joker thing was. I genuinely don't remember the final fight. I don't. Poison Ivy's in here again. I don't think you fight her. What do you do with Joker? It had to be something. I think. I don't know. Was it Ra's al Ghul again? I don't know. I'm already so checked out of it, and I think that's probably a good place to call this episode because I don't know what the hell else to say about it. Story didn't do much. It's just in every single way a lesser game than Arkham Asylum, which is something I always felt. But this time, I not only think it's not as good as Arkham Asylum, I don't even know if I think it's too harsh to say it's not a good game. But to me, Arkham Asylum, 10 out of 10. One of the greatest games of all time. Arkham City, 6 out of 10. That's the most I could give it. It's a well-made game on a technical level. But in terms of its design, I don't like almost anything about it. In terms of the story, it's fine, but to me, it is a drop from Asylum. Maybe if you're a super diehard Batman fan, all the exercise stuff will give you all of these little nuggets and tidbits and things that really resonate with you as someone who is deep within the Batman lore and you're getting more bang for your buck in that sense. I'm not that person. So that's weird for me. The combat is more frustrating because they throw more enemies at you than I remember in Arkham Asylum. Well, definitely because I played on easy, but I don't know if I played on hard again, if it would be more of a one-to-one comparison. And yeah, like you don't have the scarecrow bits. You don't. There's no thing that's close to the scarecrow bits in terms of being intriguing and creative. In terms of boss fight type things, there was something in there that I don't remember because it's like, so yeah, I'm bummed by it, but what are you gonna do? So that'll do it for this here episode of Second Runs. Once again, I am Marcus, and as y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can get access to a monthly Q&A, an occasional watch party, some fancy Discord roles, a private Discord channel, and the random drop on the Patreon here or there, depending on your tier. Or you could just support me if that is your fancy. That is again patreon.com/PXS. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, the Twitch, and so much more over at pxsausage.com. That is the letter P, the letter X, sausage.com. That is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope, for my sake, that the whole mic setup worked and everything's good. Otherwise, this is all going in the garbage. So hopefully, let's say yes to that, because I don't want to redo this because I already feel like I've forgotten enough of my playthrough. I've tried to blank it out, that there are things that I'm sure you're saying, how could he have not said this about Arkham City? Or, they didn't bring that up. I can't believe it. If this episode didn't work, it's going to be so much worse. So fingers crossed to that. But more so than that, I hope, again, you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. But for now, adios. Arrivederci. Bye. Bye.
It's go time. Go daddy. It's go time. Go daddy.